Hello everybody and welcome to my first video on ECG basics. So before we start to look at ECGs in general and get really fancy and try and interpret a 12-lead ECG, we need to know what is normal, okay? So first of all, I just want to take it back to basics and just explain what happens in the heart, okay? So we all know a normal heart rate is between 60 to 100 beats a minute. But what happens? What happens? How does the heart contract and how does the electrical activity move through the heart in a normal heart, okay? Well, first of all, we have this impulse triggered off by the boss. I like to call this the boss because this is in charge of the heart. This is the big one, it sits at the top and it's responsible for electrical activity through the heart, for initiating that each beat, each impulse. This is also known as the sinoatrial node. You may want to take notes. Okay, so what happens is the boss releases this electrical impulse and it's like it sends lots of bees flying across the atria, and as it's doing that, it forces the atria to contract, okay? So then the electrical signal gets down to the AV node, which I like to call the gatekeeper. The reason why it's called the gatekeeper in my world is because it's there to allow a pause, okay? So it's letting the ventricles fill up again, and then when it senses they've filled up again, it will allow the electrical impulses come from all these little bees coming across the atria. It'll be like, okay, you can pass through to the ventricles now, okay? And that's when we get our ventricular contraction, which we also know as depolarization, okay? So in a normal heartbeat, we get the electrical impulse released by the boss. The bees swarm around the atria as they depolarize. The impulse arrives at the gatekeeper and then the impulse passes down these bundle branches. So we've got right bundle branch, left bundle branch, and it goes through the Purkinje fibers either side at the same time simultaneously, and then the ventricles contract. And this is what we see on an ECG strip. So here we have the P wave. The P wave is showing us what's going on upstairs in the heart. It's showing us what's going on with the atria, okay? So when we see a P wave, we know that the atria have depolarized, okay? The pause here is this section here. We're just waiting for the gatekeeper to open its gates and allow the electrical impulse to pass through to the ventricles. And when it does, when the ventricles depolarize, we get the QRS. The QRS is a bigger impulse and shows up bigger on the ECG because the ventricular muscles are larger than the atrial muscles, okay? Then we have the T wave. The T wave is repolarization of the ventricles, okay? We also do have a wave that shows repolarization of the atria, but we can't see that because it's hidden in the QRS complex because this is so powerful. So I hope that gives you a basic understanding of what a normal PQRST should look like and what's going on in the heart at the time. Thank you.